Hey guys, Logan vows here, and welcome back to my Rocky series. Each month I will be doing a Rocky review in my series of Rocky reviews leading up to Creed 2 coming out in November. I already reviewed a Rocky 1, 2, and 3, and now we're going to be talking about Rocky 4, the fourth installment of the Rocky franchise, and it's about Rocky Balboa reclaiming the title of the World Heavyweight Boxing Championship after beating Lang in the third Rocky film. But then in this film he encounters a Russian fighter named Ivan Drago, who then came in and killed Apollo Creed in the boxing match between him and Apollo Creed, and then Rocky Balboa had to go on a path of revenge to beat Ivan Drago in a match between him and Drago in a match in Russia. Now, like I said, this is the fourth installment of the Rocky franchise, and I think it's the third straight Rocky film to be directed and written by Sylvester Stallone, not just starring in this film and Rocky 2 and 3 as Rocky Balboa. And this one, after watching it for the first time, it was fine. It's certainly entertaining, I will say. It does have a high entertainment value that helps the film be more watchable than it could have been. But for the most part, this film felt more like an action revenge, a Rocky Balboa film than an actual boxing film. And for a film like this to be like that, is really odd for me. The first three installments really felt more like boxing films, especially the first one. This one, however, takes in a very different approach in a Rocky franchise. And usually when films try to take a different turn in a franchise, sometimes it pulls off in ways that are unexpected. While others simply tried to deliver that promise of taking a different turn that could potentially be good, some didn't do that very well. And in the case of Rocky 4, it kind of did a mixed bag type of a job of trying to be something different from the first three Rocky films, and it was okay, I will say, just based on that. Now, Ivan Drago, this guy is menacing. Now, he wasn't like the type of, trash-talking boxing fighter like Clubber Lang was in Rocky 3. He has very minimum dialogue in the entire film, but whenever he brings in a one-liner, he pulls it off. He's a magnificent villain. He's probably my favorite villain in the entire Rocky franchise, and that's kind of interesting. And this is the film where Apollo Creed, played by Carl Weathers excellently, gets killed in a boxing match between him and Ivan Drago. Ivan Drago is the one responsible for, not only KO'd, or is that really a KO in a boxing match? Apollo Creed, but also killed him instantly, and ending that whole boxing match with his death, and that's kind of tragic. Maybe not as tragic as Mickey died in Rocky 3, but still pretty tragic, especially when Apollo Creed turned out to be, from being an enemy or arch nemesis to Rocky Balboa, to being a friend in Rocky 3, or mentor, I should say. The rest of the cast obviously did a good job. Sylvester Stallone, what can I say? Talia Shire as Adrian, she did a good job. But Paulie, played by Kurt Young, why is he in this film? Why? There's nothing he does that is interesting, or even remotely interesting in this film. It's still baffling to me that each Rocky film that I watch for the first time that has nothing interesting about Paulie. All he does through Rocky 2 and 4, as I'm still watching Rocky films, that have interesting about Paulie, or nothing interesting about him. He does nothing but kind of come off as an a-hole to Rocky. But yeah, that's one of my issues with the film. So much random stuff has happened, especially ones that are pretty much, well, I wouldn't say very much like the random scene with Hulk Hogan and Sylvester Stallone in Rocky 3, having a wrestler versus boxer match scene. That scene was very random, but there are plenty of random scenes to be found in the film that didn't really mesh well with this film, actually. And so many other things. This film comes off as predictable, even though it takes a very different approach from what the previous films in the Rocky franchise have. And that's very odd. It should not be predictable in so many certain things, but even though it has kind of different montages, but still have a couple of the same songs from some of the previous films, it just didn't really came off as surprising anymore. So anyway, guys, overall, I didn't really think this film was as great as the first 3 films, especially the first one, but it's still watchable nonetheless. If you are a fan of the Rocky franchise, you're still going to have a good time with watching this film. At least maybe once or twice or so, but overall this film kind of felt so much different than the other Rocky films, and tries to be that way, and I see the potential being there, but half of the time it doesn't live up to that potential. I'm going to give Rocky 4 a silver medal of honor. So anyway, guys, that is my review for Rocky 4. My next review in my Rocky series is going to be for Rocky 5, and it will be up next month, so be on the lookout for that one. If you guys enjoyed my review, please click the like button, and if you have already watched Rocky 4, comment below and let me know what you think of it. If you enjoyed what you've seen here and you want to see future videos from me, please press up there to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great week, Battle Squad, and as always, fight the good fight.